What's up, y'all? It's your boy Niner Faithful. I'm not even gonna bother asking how everybody's doing. Ain't nobody legendary today. I think Jason said it best on the post he made this morning. We don't want to, but we have to. We have to break down this game for y'all. Um, but before we do that, of course, for the last time this season, stay tuned to the end of the show to get your special 10% off coupon code for the Faithful by the Faithful apparel, exclusively available at ninerfaithfulradio.com/shop. Help out Niner Faithful Radio by using our shop49ers.com affiliate link. Link will be in the description of this video or podcast. Go to seatgiant.com. Use the promo code Niner Faithful Radio to save on all your theater, concert, and sporting event tickets, as well as help out the show. Follow us on social media. Jason, we will be continuing to put out content throughout the offseason on Facebook, Instagram, and Tumblr at Niner Faithful Radio and Twitter at Niner Faithful R. To see everywhere you can subscribe to the show, go ahead and visit ninerfaithfulradio.com/shop. We'll go ahead and see if Jamie and Jason want to do NFR weekly, but if we do it, it will be 7 p.m. here on the West Coast. And unfortunately, there's no more game day shows. So, ladies and gentlemen, faithful of all ages, let's get the show cracking.
You are now listening to Niner Faithful Radio, the show for the faithful, by the faithful.
What's cracking, Jason?
Meh.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of how it is, man. Just meh.
I was thinking to myself, I was talking to one of my coworkers yesterday, and, or maybe it was today. Yeah, she's like, how you hanging in there, bro? And I said, look, at the end of the day, it was exactly 28 years, since we won our championship. So essentially every season since then, 27, 28, whatever you want to count it, every season has essentially ended the same. I mean, obviously some without playoffs, some with playoff, but essentially every season. So at this point, I'm lightweight numb to it. And the one thing I said, I don't know if working the last 2 days has helped me, not allowed me to sit here and wallow in my sorrows. The two things I'm grateful, and I even said this one thing before the game. I said, I'm glad we're the early game.
Yeah.
My anticipation, I don't know if I could have lasted all day, and ultimately ended up, thank God we were the good game, because I mean, this bottle was pretty full. And Jason, you know me pretty well, bro. I ain't a drinker like that, so that should tell you some things.
Yeah, I mean, I got to the point where I was up at the bar and I was just like, yeah, just give me the big shot. I'm done.
Yeah.
And that was about halfway through the third. I was like, look, man, this offense ain't going anywhere with Josh Johnson. It's just, yeah.
You know what?
You're Damien, you're not the first or last person that's probably going to mention pretty much the similarities between these two teams.
I will admit, I'm gonna be anybody who watched the pregame show, watched the halftime show. I got pretty, especially the pregame show. I got pretty emotional. I'm not gonna lie, and I held it together, and it was very like a lot of quietness. Just like numb, just like a lot of numbness. But finally, when I broke down and started to cry, everything started to hit me. Is obviously, as many people who listen to the show know, I turned down the volume on the TV and I listened to the game on KMBR. So it's Greg Papa and Tim Ryan that I listened to. And Greg Papa said, you didn't even have a chance to compete. You had 6 plays in this game, essentially 5 plays, 5 full plays that you had an opportunity to compete when the offense looked pretty. I mean, they didn't look horrible,
It wasn't great. It wasn't But I mean, Philly was coming at us.
I think that
with defense.
it was enough to believe that there was nothing I saw in those 5 plays that believed, oh my God, we have no chance in this game.
Nah, you couldn't get a read
Or
on
even
anything.
it wasn't even a 3 and out. And ultimately, that's what ultimately I think hurt the worst. Like, I know maybe Haberman and Milkoff, I believe it was their Sunday night pod, had said that, what hurt last year, what hurt worse, just losing last year, especially the way you did to the team you did, or this year where you just weren't even in the game. I stay in Texas when Dallas beat us in 92, 93, the Niners need to jump off soft this like yesterday. I think that's what it is. And Damian, I'm going to get to your point, actually, because I really bring this up, is that as we're sitting through officially what it would have ended Kyle's first contract they got in 2017, it was a 6-year deal.
Mhm.
This would have been the last year of that contract. Jason, would you have Kyle Shanahan in the offseason? If he had not signed after the Super Bowl year, and this was
we signed now?
last
Yeah.
year. Yeah. I think cool. I think we could both agree to that. All of us can agree to that. Kyle Shanahan deserved that extension. The final, what you got? 23, 24, 25. So the final 3 years of his deal, of this current deal he's on now, is about championships.
He needs to get at least one.
I would think
there's that.
Now, we'll get into this next week when we officially put this season to bed. We'll talk about, this next coming year and everything like that. But that's ultimately how I'm feeling this, is that even though we're in a weird position with essentially now Trey came out and said that he'll be 100% by OTAs. He's about 3-4 weeks away from being cleared. But having ultimately I said this, but you and I discussed this on the show, that I was open to, at the very least, you have Trey and Brock compete.
I pretty much agree with you on that. I don't think there's any other way to go into it. Whether you think Trey should be the number one or Brock, that's, you can debate that till the cows come home kind of thing. But I think at the very least, everybody has to agree there's a competition at some level.
Yeah. Now, is it a fair competition? Essentially when we find out Trey's going to have essentially the whole offseason and Brock's going to have training camp.
Yeah.
Maybe not, but this is ultimately what I think will be the best for the Niners, the best for Trey Lance and Brock Purdy, is that if Trey comes out to the year and struggles, I don't think Kyle hesitates to bench him.
Yeah. I would have thought
this is Trey's year. This is Trey. If you are going to be the franchise quarterback for this franchise, it is it, because we've seen what Brock Purdy can do in 7 games. Shit, you haven't even played 7 games.
Yeah.
And let's be real. If you pulled the fan base and we lose the game, you chalk it up as, hey, Philly's the home team, and this is why you're the number 1 seed, and this is why home field advantage. They win on a late field goal. I bet you pull, and Brock Purdy played well enough for us to win. I think there's not a majority of this fan base who believe that Brock should be the starter. So to me, you at least got to put it in competition, because that's what's going to happen. I mean, you're not going to give up on the 3rd overall pick.
No.
They just invested too much in them.
I don't know if it was you I talked to or somebody else, but I was like, pre-Brock getting hurt, to me, you go into the next season with Brock being number 1, Trey being number 2, and you make Trey being the 3rd overall pick. Take it from him.
Yeah.
That to me was Brock has earned the right at this point to be the number 1 between his play, how far he got him, and all that kind of stuff. So, okay, Trey, if you live up to the potential that you have, you should be able to take this.
Essentially,
and I have no problem.
And essentially what I said, which is, you know what, Trey, if you can't beat out literally the last pick in the draft, then you didn't deserve to go 3rd overall. I mean, that's just how cold, and so ultimately it's, to me, what cost us this season is, in a weird way, Jimmy Garoppolo's injury. Not the way that we think it would have. you know. But ultimately, yeah, we're at least in that ball game, and we'll see what happens if Jimmy's available for that
I
game.
wonder how far, because it's only 2 weeks. Had we won
Mhm.
that and gotten the Super Bowl, everybody was saying that Jimmy would have been ready for the Super Bowl. How close was he? Would you have? Was it like his calls, like, "Look, coach, I just can't do it," or were they just,
I'm
maybe
curious.
seeing him run kind of thing, throw, and it was just off a little bit, kind of like with Trent last year.
Yeah,
With Trent being injured in the NFC Championship game, it's just like, should we have pulled it and say, "Look, you're suiting up and you are going to be the backup," or was it just that obvious that he was still limping or whatnot?
My curious is that maybe it just simply came back that we think either ultimately we're going to lose this game and it's not going to matter, or we think Brock can get us through one more game. And I mean, Damian says it best. It took the Eagles 3 quarters to put away the crippled Niners away. The Eagles are not the better team. I don't believe so either.
At the very least, they're even at most positions, pretty much. If you want to give it that, I'll give you that.
I'll give the receivers a slight edge. Quarterback, not as much as people would think. Not as much. Just maybe because, and see, I hate to say this because Brock can scoot, but I think sure Jalen Hurts is slightly more dynamic with his legs. But
he's a.
Their offensive line, I'll give their O line better credit.
We were getting around them, but we just didn't finish on a lot of it.
Frontline players, I'd still like to say I'd give it to our RD line. But depth, yeah, sure, you could say the Eagles probably have better depth.
Yeah. I think we have the better player.
Yeah.
But I think they had the better, like you said, they had the better depth. Obviously, we got Bosa.
Yeah. I think Nick Bosa healthy without a 2-inch gash in his fucking leg. I'll never forget, bro. This is the sentence that burns. I remember they were talking about Nick Bosa getting worked on. They didn't say what it was. They just said lower leg. So I'm thinking, did Nick Bosa just get his fucking knee blown out, like getting rolled up on the sideline? Like I literally was about to fucking throw up.
When I first saw it, I thought it was something along those lines by the way he was acting and everything.
Yeah, and I was like, did Nick Bosa just get like? And my girl looks at me, and Fred Warner was down on his back.
Yeah.
And my girl looked at me and she goes, "It's 12:38." And I remember just thinking to myself, like, even about the Elijah Mitchell situation before the game. In hindsight, like, yeah, sure, we all weren't thinking about that at the time. But I was a little concerned about that because I'm like, it was clear Christian couldn't have gone the whole game. And that was clear.
He was sure trying to, though.
He did. Look,
he was sure giving a fucking performance of his life right there.
You cannot say the team quit yesterday. When Dre Greenlaw got that personal foul for punching the ball, which they did not blow the whistle, and I don't want to hear him after Christian McCaffrey was clearly stopped and the Eagle safety came and tattooed him.
Yep.
I don't want to say we lost the games because of the refs, because no, that's not why we lost the game. Ultimately, it was injuries to the quarterback. Because even with Josh Johnson, I think we might have. And if you would have gave me Elijah Mitchell, so we could add Christian and Elijah, I think we could have put a functionable game plan. And maybe you asked the D, "Hey, we need you to get us a pick six something."
Again. I also question some of the play calling with that. Like, why are we having Josh Johnson push the ball? Like, CMC is going. Yeah, it's not going. You're not breaking those big runs every day, but he's finding little holes, making it move just a little bit, and then he's breaking one here and there. I would have rather taken my chances with that rather than put the ball in Josh Johnson's hand. I mean, did you see this on the sideline where he couldn't even put in his mouthpiece? The man, I'm not going to knock him too much. He did what he could. But at the end of the day, there's a reason why he's a fourth-string journeyman quarterback in the NFL.
Josh Johnson was not prepared to play football yesterday.
No. Like I said, he was just nervous. You could just see it. He couldn't even put his mouthpiece in.
He was clearly, he wasn't even looking at, and that was the frustrating thing about it. Now, having obviously known that it's a torn UCL, I ain't gonna lie, Jason. I was just like, a bit of me was like, is this, like I said it on the halftime show, is like, is this where Brock Purdy becomes a legend? Like where he's etching, like, does he come back in this game and lead a comeback?
He couldn't.
No, literally, he tore his UCL. Like, he literally couldn't. But at the time, didn't know that.
You see all the people bitching and moaning and like, why couldn't he suck it up? I'm like, there's a difference between playing in pain and literally, like, you can't make that motion without this ligament. You can't do shit.
Like,
there's no power behind it.
Yeah, it was, I'll put it to you this way, bro. Yeah, it was a lot of tequila and a lot of emotions talking yesterday, but I'll put it to you this way. My girl wins and can keep me out of Philadelphia, then fine. But if I go to Philadelphia next year, bro, I'm pissing on that damn Rocky statue. I am, bro.
I'm going to tell you this right now. Don't do that shit, because every team that fucks with that statue loses. That's why when I saw everybody up the statue, I'm like, y'all done ruined this shit.
We did it last year.
Yeah, but everybody, you don't do that in the fun. Let me rephrase it. Everybody that does it in like playoffs always gets fucked every single time. That'd be like, do you want them to come up here and do that shit with? Like,
no, I understand that, but
that's why you don't fuck with certain shit, and that's to me one of them.
It's like this. So when I was talking to my girl about it, right, I looked at her because I've seen some videos of some of the people we met at the row. Right, we're posting videos, and Abel and some of the 4A faithfuls. Some of them were posting videos of beer cans getting thrown at them and beer poured on and all that. Right,
Philly.
And that's Philly. Philly's gonna Philly, whatever. And I'm about that life. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever. You throw a beer can at me, I'm gonna throw it right back, bro. Like, it is what it is. But I looked at my girl, and my girl, like, I sat there and I told her, I said, look, babe, I'll talk shit with the best of them. I said, you can't tell me I didn't grow up with a hostile fan base. I grew up in the Bay Area, bro. You know what I'm saying? I grew up around a fan base, included in a fan base, and growing up around a fan base that somebody literally got shot. A couple people got shot at a fucking preseason game.
Yeah.
Okay, like, so it is what it is. I said, what I'm scared of, I said, if somebody hurts you, I don't know how I'm gonna react. Cause whatever, you even pour a beer on me, bro. You know what I'm saying? But you throw a beer can, that busts my girl's tooth out.
Well, that's different when it's somebody else, the kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, and she ain't even about that life like that. You know what I'm saying? It'd be different if I'm me. Yeah, there's hard times at games I probably deserve to get a tooth knocked out. You feel me? Another one. Well, this one didn't get knocked out, but
yeah, but that's the point where you're talking about when someone does something like that to someone you're with, kind of thing. That's when you start seeing red, and you don't even. Next thing you know, you're in jail. You have no idea what the fuck you just did. That's a completely different level.
I think that's what my girl is scared of. Because I told her, I said, I would love to go to Philly. I would love to have a real life Niner fan got stabbed at the Raider game. Oh, this year? I didn't hear about that. But no, I mean, I think ultimately, Jason, how I feel about this game, we could break down the penalties. We could break down whatever it is, that we want to break down. We could spend the next hour and a half talking about it. But we had a team that was able to compete for 5 plays.
Yeah.
And on the 6th play, which, by the way, A, don't think it was a fumble, but whatever. B, that the fumble ultimately only mattered because Brock Purdy got hurt, because the D went and forced a 3 and out the next play, or the next, that drive. So ultimately the fumble didn't matter. It was the fact that Brock Purdy got killed, and if Brock Purdy didn't get killed, it was going to be a big play to BA.
He was open.
So, because the Purdy said, even in his interview, he goes, I was getting ready to throw because I was seeing BA become open. He was going to throw the ball to BA. And so ultimately, maybe I cursed us. Maybe I cursed us by saying, hey, I'd rather lose this Sunday than 2 weeks from now. I'm tired of losing Super Bowls, bro. Yeah. And so maybe ultimately I fucking cursed us. But if I thought I would curse us, I didn't think it would have been this. So one thing that I feel has to be addressed in this offseason is that, And I feel bad because clearly it's not like they've made an effort, to address this. But you could make an argument that two, if not, all three of our playoff runs have ended by either quarterback injury or quarterback play.
Yeah.
Ultimately, look, you can't tell me that Jimmy was fully right in the fourth quarter of that Super Bowl.
No, he was concussed. He got his fucking head rung a couple of times in that game.
Yeah, so fine. Ultimately, what was that? Quarterback injury. 2020 season gets derailed. Why? Jimmy misses 8 games. Kittle misses game, But
everybody missed games.
Jimmy, everybody missed games. And I'm not talking about the championship, but you can't tell me Jimmy and
we were in it till what, last 2 weeks for that one?
Yeah, I believe it was the Buffalo game. I believe it was losing to Buffalo that ultimately knocked us out.
Yeah, it was like week 15, 14 until we were actually out of it, because we still had a shot at the playoffs.
Even after we got kicked out of our stadium.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, okay, the 2021, ultimately, sure, you could break down individual plays, but something tells me Jimmy's fully healthy. That game against the Yams, that game's probably a little different. Trent Williams being fully healthy, that game is damn near. Trent Williams is healthy, they don't beat us.
So,
and then this year, ultimately what happened is, I won't say
all the quarterback injuries.
I mean, and what makes it insane and clearly says this has to be something is, how do you play 4 quarterbacks in a year and literally all 4 get hurt? Because clearly, it's clear now that Brock wouldn't have been able to start the Super Bowl. And it wasn't.
That would have been. We would have been. I don't even know if you could pull up free agents. I mean, because at that point you got Josh Allen, who would be number 1, depending on his concussion.
That's what I was going to say.
That go to like CMC, Juice. I mean, at that point, what the fuck are we doing?
That would literally have been the craziest Super Bowl storyline ever, like past and future. Like, no storyline would have literally said Niners are trying out quarterbacks during the bye week of before the Super Bowl.
Like I said, I'm not even sure if you can. That's my question. It's like, can you try quarterbacks? Like, can you sign people that late?
I'm sure you can.
I don't know.
The NFL would have to make an exception.
But they can't make an exception for that, because that means you're going to start just randomly signing players right before Super Bowls.
But then, so ultimately, you want your biggest game of the year being a fullback at quarterback?
And the breaks, man. I'm not saying it's fair or right, but you set a precedent if you just start letting people sign before the.
And you know what? Ultimately, if that was going to be the case, then I won't say I'm glad we lost Sunday, because I'll never be happy with a loss. But yeah, I'd rather have watched that slow burn yesterday than watch Juice try to play 4 quarters. Love Juice, but I don't know if I would want to watch 4 quarters of him trying to play quarterback.
I don't know. I kind of want to see what Kyle would have done with like a triple option kind of. That's pretty much what we have to run.
In the preseason, I'm all for it. I'm all for whatever in the preseason. Shit, it's the preseason. But we're trying to end the quest for 6, a 28-year playoff, our championship drought, and we got our fullback and quarterback. Okay, let's roll. Craziest story ever if the Niners win it. Juice's Super Bowl MVP.
To add to your point, there you go.
What?
There's a quarterback injuries.
Okay, 2017, CJ Beathard beat up, led to Garoppolo taking over. 2018 Garoppolo tear, Mullins 2020 UCL tear, 20 Lamps, chip finger, Garoppolo calf strain, torn thumb and shoulder. 2022 Trey Lance, broken ankle, Garoppolo broken foot, and Purdy torn UCL.
That's just stupid. There's just that one missing year in there where we actually went and probably should have won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean. Hold on, I want to look up something real quick. 2018. I was thinking about this 49ers.
Oh, let's not also forget in that down below is that Jimmy in 2020 had 2 high ankle sprains that limit him just as much.
Yeah. Oh no, but Jimmy, I believe it was 8 games. Okay, I'm actually curious about this. I want to look this up. Okay. No, okay, never mind. I was gonna say, I believe each season that we've ended this. So essentially, almost every season under Kyle Shanahan, except 20.
Oh, here you go. I know what you're trying to say, and I got it right here. Let me pull this up.
Yeah.
There you go. That's what we've done since 2011.
Well, or even more detailed. Literally every year except 2017, the season has ended in a loss under Kyle Shanahan. 2017, we obviously won the 5 games to finish out the season. 2018, I just looked it up. We lost to the Yams last game of the year. 2019, obviously the Super Bowl. 2020, we lost to who was it? I don't even remember, but we lost somebody in the end of the year. 2021, obviously the Yams, and then this year the Eagles. Every year except the first year under Kyle Shanahan has ended in a loss. But yeah, so pull that thing up again, bro. I was actually curious about that.
Okay, give me a second to find it again. There we go.
Because this is so. I mean, okay, so 2011 lose NFC Championship game, 2012 lose Super Bowl, 2014 entire year on IR.
Yeah, I remember that shit.
Okay, yeah, I remember that. Patrick Willis. You know what's something interesting that I had to think about but realized? Patrick Willis never played at Levi's. Because he got hurt week 1 and he never came back on the field.
That is true,
2015 through 2018, trash plus IR. Yeah, okay. 2018 was
trash
a IR year. Well, trash and 2018. Look, you can't continue. Will we have won a championship in 20? I think we would have competed for a playoff.
I think we would have gotten to the playoffs that year. Maybe not win it.
Damn sure not finish 4-12 if Jimmy doesn't go on IR. We were clearly a Nick Bosa, a Debo away from competing for a champ, and ultimately Emmanuel Sanders.
Yeah.
But okay, 2020, whole team's on IR. Yeah, okay, literally. 2021.
Between IR and the COVID bullshit, that's that year.
Hey, but it's funny. Well, he's obviously trolling somebody.
He is. He's talking. This guy's just randomly talking shit. Yeah, he's just talking shit. And this isn't that same David Lombardi thread. I just happened to scroll down.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's so weird because, like, how could a team that literally you've never felt minus 20? Yeah, literally the only offseason you've ever felt comfortable at the quarterback position was 2018. Because 2019, you're obviously coming off of Jimmy torn ACL.
Yeah, but we were comfortable with him that year.
Yeah, but I'm talking about, how's Jimmy going to be off a torn ACL?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Type of comfortable. 2020, obviously, it's clear they flirted with Brady.
Well, yeah, he was pretty. There was definitely phone calls. I don't know if he actually came to town, but there was definitely phone calls.
I don't believe it got that far, but there was phone calls. And I believe that you could say whether it was Kyle and or John, that's probably that offseason was probably when people in the organization started to move on with Jimmy Garoppolo as a replaceable quarterback.
Yeah, that's when the heat got turned up on anything.
Yeah. Then 2020, obviously, injury year, Last year, they literally tried to get Matthew Stafford.
Mm-hmm.
They draft Trey Lance. It was pretty much pointed out that this will be Jimmy Garoppolo's last year at quarterback. And then this year, ultimately,
surprise!
You're saying, and then ultimately this year, you go into Trey's our quarterback, but what do we really have? So there's literally never been a year besides 2018 because of the hype of Jimmy of the end of 2017 that you really felt comfortable with the quarterback. But how is this team, when we've had the damn dudes that make us the good football team that we are, like, so great that like I've heard people talking about how this season is disappointing just because I'll never know how good this team really was. Like, were we really good enough to win a championship if healthy? Ultimately, like, no. But that's with the asterisk because it's health. I did not see. Now you could say 6 games.
One position when it comes down to the quarterback for this year.
And really, considering we've been pretty lucky at every freaking other position, because the only other person that suffered a legit like season-ending, is Nick Bosa.
You talking about this year?
I mean, no, I'm just talking about in general. Like this team's not.
You had Jason Verrett twice, Emmanuel Mosley.
Well, yeah.
So we have had
Emmanuel Mosley.
Jason Verrett twice.
Yeah, Jason Verrett. But I mean, this year he wasn't going to be. It was money in the bank, which ultimately, I mean, could you imagine how great this? If when Emmanuel Mosley went down, if we could have had Jason Verrett, even though Demo, do you go in the offseason with Jarvarius and Demo 1-2?
Yes. I think just like with the talk about with where would you rank Brock and Trey, as good as E-Man was at times, I think Demo played enough to where he is now in position where he gets that number 2 spot. And should E-Man come back, because I believe he's a free agent this year.
Yeah, he is.
So if he comes back, I think he has to take that from him, because we also have a few other guys in the wings that were drafted that could play that position. We still have Ambry Thomas.
Yeah, but what does Ambry Thomas do after essentially a red shirt year?
Again, well, I guess he played last year. So we'll see what happens. But I mean, we've got a few other guys that we just re-signed today on the future contract reserve list. So it's going to be
I didn't get an opportunity to look at anything.
I will pull it up here in just a second. One of them was Womack and McKnight, I believe.
Nice. I like Sammy Womack on the team in the future. I like Sammy Womack coming back. Cause I was actually, you know what? He was definitely somebody that the hype of the preseason ultimately ended up being watched when Kyle leaves.
I thought I posted it.
He will do like Bill Belichick did Cleveland and Andy Reid did the Eagles. I think when this relationship, because this is my thing, is Bill Walsh always had a theory that a coach should stay at a place no more than 10 years. Right?
There we go.
Jason Poe.
Quantrez Knight, Tay Martin, Curtis Robinson. So, I mean, Alfred Gutierrez, which that's like my favorite. Him and Poe, I want to see them play one time. So, I mean, they left Taylor Hawkins at safety.
Quantrez Knight looked nice in the preseason. Yeah. Okay, Jason, I want to actually ask you about this now that you pull. I just thought about this right now. I think it's pretty obvious right now. I don't know how much of the film online you've seen, but Javon Kinlaw's a bust, right?
Yeah. Well, injuries. But, I mean, if you go by injuries, yeah, because when he plays, he's played. But this last season, he hasn't. And this goes back. Look, I know I still back everything that I said against Grant Cohn, that where it's not what he said. Because I think we all felt that way. But you went after someone like that just to try and get, because everybody else
I'll
said
admit,
the same thing.
I maybe I'll start to do it more in the off season, but I haven't watched Grant Cohn this year in the off season, because when we did the show and we were talking, and I can't remember if it was you or me that said it, but basically said that he wants to be TMZ.
Yeah, that was me. That was me always. I've been saying that for years. And all he wants is TMZ. He's a bitch.
And ultimately, cool. Like I said, I've met him. Cool dude. Enjoyed the football conversation I had. I think he is a little bit of a troll, and everything like that. And he likes being the villain, and he likes being the one that pokes the bear and, feels that the Niner media is pretty soft on Kyle. and doesn't really, put his feet to the fire. But, and I can see the media does somewhat treat Kyle with kid gloves sometimes. But, I'm not interested in like I don't like Jerry Springer. I don't like trash TV. So I don't like one of the reasons I don't like ESPN and I don't like that I'm gonna, go on this side and you're gonna oppose me and we're gonna argue back and forth and ultimately why we don't have fans of other teams on. I don't like conflict. I don't like watching conflict. I'm good.
Yeah, but see, you can do that with respect. Cone doesn't have respect.
And we've disagreed before, bro. So I'm not saying it needs to all be rainbows and butterflies, and I only have you on because 99.9% of the time we agree. I think it makes to do a show easier. Yeah. But I mean, when sometimes when I ask you questions, I'm generally curious because I don't know, or I'm stuck on something. Ultimately, I wanted to say this: where was Nick Bosa this playoffs? Because I don't believe he registered a sack.
He was and I've seen other people complain about that. He was there, and we're also playing better quality line than we had been before. So I mean, the scheming that we got that against
it also helps when their left tackle jumps out, false starts.
Damn every fucking play. You know what I mean?
It's and you call Trent Williams. Look, I'll admit Trent Williams probably does the same thing, but this is why I looked at my girl. I said, this is what pisses me off about this game. Is I didn't, of course, y'all know I don't watch other football games and definitely wasn't in the mood to watch. And, let me watch another team like fan base celebrate as their team goes to the Super Bowl, But I've heard the officiating overall in both games was garbage.
It was.
I said the only thing that players and fans can ask is be consistent. Call it on both sides. That was my whole thing. But anyway, like I get it, but like even beyond the injury thing, because like I said, what it really became a joke is when Brock came back in the game, and it's like, okay, he essentially threw 2 passes, and
there was nothing on them passes.
Yeah, it was clearly a joke at that point. But fine, you could say, look, that's the game. We killed your quarterback. Like sometimes that's what it takes. Nick Bosa would have, made Jalen Hurts tore his UCL. Would we be bitching and everything like that? No, I'd be celebrating like crazy. I still would have smoked my Cubans. I'd probably be smoking one on air right now just because fuck it. But so that's what I said when not the injury, but the fumble. Like, cool. Hassan Reddick, their best pass rusher, made plays. The play that ultimately ended up changing the game. And Nick Bosa didn't. Love Nick Bosa. He's defensive player of the year. Maybe that's going to look. I hope it motivates him. I hope he takes that personal and says, I did not get a sack this offseason. I'm going to go out and get the most sacks in the NFL history next year. Playoffs and regular season.
I almost don't want him to win defensive player of the year just so he can come back angrier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And especially give it to Micah Parsons over the fact that it's like clearly Nick Bosa Nick Bosa had more of an impact in the Cry Girls game than Micah Parsons. Like Micah Parsons showed up that game, but Nick Bosa made more plays.
And because of Micah Parsons been talking a lot of shit, because that's what he does. But I mean, because like if they had given it to like Chris Jones, the Chiefs for Defensive Player of the Year, I think Bosa would be mad. But just because Chris Jones really doesn't talk that much. But if he goes to Parsons, because that's just going to piss him off. So it's like, maybe let's not give it to Bosa. Let's piss him off even more.
Yeah, just like you might see the greatest season that an NFL D lineman will ever have next season if that happens.
Oh, this was the comeback. Like this year. Oh, look, this is what he can do when he's fully healthy. This is a fully healthy Bosa season.
Yeah.
Now you get an angry Nick Bosa.
And he should heal by the 2-inch gash he got in his leg that he's clearly leaking all over the field yesterday.
Yeah.
Jason, I've never seen a game like that, bro. Like that's the craziest game in Niner history.
It's one of them. I mean, it's just, I don't know. Like I said, about halfway through the third, I'm like, this isn't happening. You can just tell, like, the defense was just tired.
Yeah.
The team in general, like, even with Brock coming back out, I know a lot of people were trying to get pumped up. I'm like, he's got a fucking tore UCL. It's nothing at this point. He can't do it. He's going to throw what? A 5-yard pass that's going to take an hour to move those 5 yards?
Because they just said nerve damage on KMBR. That's all I ever
nerve
heard.
Damage.
That's all I ever heard during the game. So going into, like, coming out of the half, I was still fired up in the sense that, you know what, it might take 2 defense scores, but fuck it, that's what we got to do. Like, do whatever it takes type of mentality. That was literally my last key to victory, on Sunday. Whatever it takes. So fine, go get those 2 defensive scores. Go have Ray run back to the house. Whatever it took. But when I saw that it was like, okay, Brock Purdy's in this game, and he's basically essentially only can throw screen passes, we simply don't have time. Even if he was able to complete those, even if we could literally march down the field 5 to 10 yards at the time, the clock was going to run out before we could, especially with the Eagles keep on scoring and everything like that. Like it just wasn't going to happen. And ultimately, like that, it was just felt like hollow. And it wasn't like pain in like the sense of we got beat. It was just like pain and like we don't
know how this would have turned out.
You're in the Indianapolis 500 and your engine seizes up in the on lap 5.
Yeah. Could we have gotten blown out? Sure. We could have got blown out with Brock, Trey, or Jimmy playing quarterback. But we don't know. And that is the worst part of it all, is that we just don't know.
And yeah, I'll say it. Everybody's going to say it. Let's be real. Even if we go up to Philadelphia and we beat them 70-0, it's not going to replace this game.
It's not. It'll feel great for a minute just because.
Yeah. We'll go up there. We'll scream Niners and, everything like that. But if they win the Super Bowl, they'll just point up to the fucking.
That's cute and all, but look at that shit. And
which is fine. I'll say, cool, now win 3 more and then come talk to me. Like, is what I'll say. Like, because I'm not the dude. But let's be real. I mean, Niners, Eagles, NFC Championship game at Levi's next year, you're fucking coming down, bruh.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we're going to that. I don't
we'll
care
find a way to get there.
Whatever. If the Niners and Eagles play next year, but it's at Levi's, like,
we'll find a way to get down there.
Yeah, like it has to go down.
Put the house for sale. I don't even know my house. I'm putting the damn thing for sale.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like I'm renting. Like, why is there for sale house? Don't worry about
it. I'm trying to, I'll end up cashing out my stock portfolio, something like.
Yeah, we'll figure out something.
See how it ends up. It's kind of a little rough right now, but
so is mine.
We'll recover. Hey. We'll recover. All right. Anything else, bro?
Like I've been posting on all the socials and everything. I'm not going to call it a successful season because it's never successful unless you win the Super Bowl. Everything else is a failure. But if one thing else, it was a hell of a ride, and we have a memorial. We definitely have tons of memories from this year. Whether or not, Jimmy comes back and has an amazing 10-ish games or however many he played in, then he goes down. Then Brock comes up, then he goes on his, run and this and that. I finally got to come down there and see Levi's and watch a game with you down there to watch the first game where Brock plays the majority of it, stuff like that. So to me, this is we were there for the beginning of it all.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, to me, this is one of my favorite seasons just because there's just so much that went on. Even without the Super Bowl, like I said, it does suck and it's not a successful one by any means. But there's a lot to look forward to. And the same thing, like I've been posting on the show. So, what do we do now? We rebuild, redesign, reclaim.
Yep. I couldn't have said it better myself.
I think I'll put that on everything.
That's why I cried. I'm so just sick at at how the season. And me too.
Yeah.
That's ultimately why I cried. Is just because, like, 2019 will always be I believe will probably always be my non-favorite Super Bowl season. Just having gone to every home game except the Panthers, literally every home game but the Panthers game, seeing probably my first where I could really tell you I started to really remember football like that was the year we lost the NFC Championship game to the Whackers in '97. So being there literally the next time we play them in the NFC Championship game, it was like a revenge fact, all that will always be. But this season was so special in the sense of like watching, my girl bringing this very room for every game except the ones I went to, going to my first road game, and it's obviously meeting, getting to meet you in person the first time that whole weekend, just everything that happened. And
I'm quite possibly still drunk from that weekend.
I know, right? Shit. And then ultimately, what really I thought made it cool was to be able to say, like, I'm gonna be able to look at my co-host, like, we would have found a way to get you down here for the parade and be like, bro, we were at the like Brock Purdy wins us the Super Bowl. He's a Niner legend, and we were literally, I could look at you and say we were there for the start of it.
Yeah.
Like Niner Faithful Radio was in the building for the start of the legend of Brock Purdy. Which to me is Brock Purdy a legend in the sense that on the no, but is he a hell of a story? If he goes on and has just a decent career, just goes and plays 10 years in the league, he
comes back after the retirement and everybody, he gets the standing ovation. He doesn't go into the ring thing, but he gets the standing ovation.
Yeah, so much heart. Renee, we keep getting so close. I know. Yeah. Renee, he has so much heart.
That's we've always been a bridesmaid, never a bride.
You know what's so funny? I looked at my girl and I said, maybe we're just always destined to be, maybe,
what is it?
Maybe the maiden honor. We've been the maiden of honor, as in we're, basically number 2 in the wedding, but maybe just, meant to be the bridesmaid, never the bride.
What's that? We need to find what's that one movie where the chicks were having sex with a guy because afterwards they met their husband and got married. There was that. We need to find that. We need to find that person.
Yeah, for real. It's just it was a special season, but ouch, not a bride, not the bridesmaid. But it was like I could definitely see Brock Purdy being brought back, 15 years from now as honorary captain, and now
crowd goes wild.
Yeah, welcome our honorary captain for the game. Brock Purdy.
To remember the 2022 season, we have the 3 quarterbacks that got hurt.
I could even
Brock Purdy.
I could even see a CBC.
Oh, yeah.
CBC.
It'll still be there.
Definitely see. I started playing TNT when Christian, that drive where Christian scored the touchdown, right? There, because they just kept on being like CMC Dynamite, baby. So I started playing CNC on my guitar, right? And then he scored the touchdown. So I started like cranking up my amp and I was all playing it and shit like that. And I was like, babe, I'm going to do that every time Christian McCaffrey. And then we hella forgot because I was like, oh, babe, we're taking a dab after every touchdown. And like, we literally forgot until like 3 drives later. And I was like, oh shit, we never took that dab. Oh, it was just
like me trying to take a shot after every touchdown. It's like, ooh.
Yeah, it was.
Some of those 35-point games is going to get. It's going to be rough the next morning.
Well, 7 dabs. Yeah, actually, that is kind of a lot of dabs. But
that's a lot.
Plus, smoking 6 blunts. So
yeah, you got everything else to do in between.
I'll never forget my girl looking at me and because I was like, babe, let me take a shot. Okay, babe, yeah, take a shot. Numb your pain. And take another one. And then the last one, I guzzled it. And she saw me guzzle it, and she grabbed the bottle, and she goes, okay, I'm doing this. And I was like, babe, I can get you. And she was like, no, I'm doing this for your health. And then she got me a shooter. A shooter of Jameson that we had, I think, in the freezer or something. And that was it. I tapped after that. But all right, bro. We shall see you next week.
What do you think about Jimmy?
Yeah.
I'm not tripping over it. I mean,
like,
what are he supposed to do? I mean, Jimmy smiles no matter what. That's just his thing. Some people are constantly smile. I've seen him get sacked in the middle of the game, can barely get up and still smile. So I mean, I'm not, he's a terrible person or anything like that for anything. So
to me, I understand there's not good optics. Like, I will admit, is that good optics on Jimmy and Trey's part? No. But I think that, do we know the contents of the conversation?
Yeah, exactly.
And ultimately, were y'all laser focused? No, it's definitely not a good look. But were y'all laser focused by the end of that game?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think anybody was super laser focused by the end of that game. And big props, because I will say one thing. Trent Williams is a grown ass fucking man.
You do not mess with the silverback.
Like that, if that's just, I remember I wanted to smack them both. Yeah, you know what?
I mean, I get
it's
it.
Not a good look.
But again, like you said, we don't know what the context of what was being said down there. I honestly think it's being blown out of proportion. That's just.
And I will say this:
we're all still running high and being pissed.
And I will say this is that Jimmy does seem the type of person that would crack a joke or try to lighten the mood and just realize,
that's what
all
I
that.
do.
And really, truth to, but look, Renee, we're not disagreeing with, or at least I'm not. I won't speak for Jason, but no, it wasn't. It was not a good look. At this point, I mean, I don't know what to even say anymore. It was a rough day for all of us, and it hurts. We will continue to be going on in the off season, and if one thing knows, it's not going to be dull because this football team.
It's only
I know that
another off season of quarterback controversy.
God, Lord Jesus. Man, it would be nice just to be the like. I don't ever remember the Patriots going through this. Like, you notice how the Patriots never go through this. Now, mind you, I'm not a part of Patriots world, so I'm not.
They're not.
Like I know Patriots Twitter, and it's probably even worse than this Twitter because it's all mostly Boston people, and we all know how East Coast people are. So I can only imagine.
No other team, I watch most of the league, and it's just like no other team has this much drama around one position. And granted, it's quarterback, so it's always going to be highlighted, no matter if it's a controversy or not. But to have one, and yes, occasionally every team is going to have a quarterback controversy. That's just the nature of how things roll. But to have one for, it feels like the last 5 years almost. It's like, can we just go into a season where there's no questions? Like, okay, next year Trey's a starter, or next year Brock's a starter. There's no question. Jimmy's not here. Trey's not here.
How nice do you think it was to be a Whackers fan the last, whatever
20 years?
Aaron has his drama, and there's usually, as Aaron is.
Yeah, but
Aaron
it's not who's
or how good was it? How good was it to be a Chargers fan when you basically had, Philip? You knew you were going to have Phillip Rivers, and now you have Justin Herbert, or the Saints all those years. Well, you had your, are they good enough? Are they going to choke this year? But at least you knew that Drew Brees was going to have an MVP type season.
Yeah. Or even if you don't expect him to be an MVP, at least you know who your starter is.
Drew Brees is that dude. Yeah. You know who your starter is. So, I mean, I had a friend ask me this one time. He goes, "Why do you think the Niners are one of the most popular teams?" I'll suit up for 10 mil. Shit, I would
$10.
But I said, you want to know why this? As I said, if you go back now, I understand, for 40 years, you said, so you go from, 81 to about 90, even real 2002, because there were only a couple years, between, Steve and Jeff Garcia and all that, and I said, so for a lot of people's lives, the Niners are always that team that's on most of we broke it down. What's happened since 2011? The Niners are on games that everybody in the country watches. Monday night, Sunday night, Thursday night. Well, everybody gets a Thursday night game, but playoff.
We have the big ones.
So we're on Monday night, we're on Sunday night, and everything like that. So it's definitely going to be an interesting offseason. All right, bro. Well, I guess I'm gonna try to have a meeting with Jamie tomorrow to figure out what's her plan for the offseason, because probably won't be doing NFR weekly news wrap much.
I mean, we can still do it, but it's gonna be like a 20-minute show. So I'm just gonna be like, hey, nothing happened. All right, have a good week.
Deuces. Let's talk some shit about the Yams.
Basically.
Or how we beat the Crygos again. There was somebody on Helmerman and Middlecoff that said, I would have rather lost to Dallas than watched yesterday. I was like, shut your fucking mouth. Okay, whoa. Well, hold on.
Too far.
Hold on. Yeah. Like, let's calm down here, bro. Like, I could have not handled.
I'm pissed at losing to the Eagles, and I'm sure everybody else is.
Yeah.
Losing to the Cowboys is a different level of pissed offness. That's
and if they would have won,
yeah,
dude,
it's like I said, if you would rather lose to the Eagles or the Cowboys? Well, of course, I'd rather lose to the fucking Eagles rather than the Cowboys.
Like I told my girl, I have at least before yesterday, I had no real hatred for the Eagles. Like I hate them because they're the team that's on this week's schedule. Shit, I have more hatred for the fucking Chiefs and the fucking Ravens than I did did the Eagles. Before yesterday. But all right, brother,
I hate Eagles fans, not necessarily the Eagles.
Yeah.
Their fans are fucking trip, but that's just Philly in general.
Hey, be you, but just know what that brings. Just know history will be made in the Super Bowl. 2 African American quarterbacks. And I was thinking about that too, how it is dope that
Yep, it is pretty cool.
You'll have your third all-time winning black quarterback, or fourth?
Yeah.
Well, Patrick Mahomes. I wish my Niners win the Super Bowl. I mean, obviously. All right.
There's a lot of people like, oh, why aren't we saying Patrick is white? For obvious reasons, dumbass.
His dad's black.
Well, I know, but I'm saying, like, how come people are saying, well, why aren't you saying that he's a white quarterback? Well, because there's been how many white quarterbacks, and even being half, there's some people are being stupid about it. Basically, come on,
Well, you know what? I'll put it to you this way, because I've done this my whole life, literally, because I have a full white sister. I have blonde hair, blue-eyed nieces and nephew. I niece and nephew.
See me, the half Samoan?
Yeah, but yeah, I've done it my whole life, and I've put up my hands to their hands and been like, because I'm not white.
Yeah,
simple.
Exactly.
I mean, regardless of how light-skinned I am or whatever like that, you put me up against any fucking white person on this planet, and I'm always darker. That's why. All right, y'all. All right, Jason. We'll see you next week, bro.
Peace, love, and hair grease.
Yay. All right, y'all. Want to thank Jason for another kick-ass season. Puppy just messaged me. I think she actually might be here. All right, y'all. Hold on, actually, babe. Okay, I'm still doing the show. I'm just wrapping up right now. All right, y'all. Well, I wanted to say, I know Jason posted it at the end of the game or yesterday or something like that. But from all of us here at Niner Faithful Radio, we really want to thank you. Season 6 didn't end in the quest for 6, but you know what? It's been a bit kick-ass season. The video viewership has been up. Our interactions have been up. We appreciate all the interactions. And we may not always agree with each other, but one thing I love about this is it's very clear that the people who listen to this show, interact with the show, everything with this show, love the Niners. And whether you agree with me, I agree with you. Actually, y'all get to see this official. Went ahead and brought the Dwight Clark catch. Gold Bar whiskey. Bubby just brought that in for me right now. It's kind of heavy. Yeah, that's pretty heavy. But that's the cool thing about it is everybody who interacts with the show and listens to the show really does love this football team. And I respect anybody who believes red and gold. Whether I agree with you, whether or not, I really do appreciate from the bottom of my heart. Y'all make my dreams come true every game day and every Tuesday. I get to live my dream and y'all make it possible. So honestly, thank y'all from the bottom of my heart. Sucks. I'm heartbroken that we didn't get to end the quest for 6. Trust me, I was crying like a little bitch all Sunday night. But definitely. Now thing changed, and before we get out of here, of course, got to go through all this. The code for 10% off of all season 2 for the faithful by the faithful apparel is the quest continues. 10% excludes any on-sale items and cannot be combined with any other coupon code. And will expire. I think I said it for March something. I don't know. It'll expire, but use it and get 10% off of all for season 2 for the faithful by the faithful apparel. Help out Niner Faithful Radio by using our shop49ers.com affiliate link. Link will be in the description of this video or podcast. Go to SeatGiant.com. Use the promo code Niner Faithful Radio to save on all your theater, concert, and sporting event tickets, as well as help out the show. Follow us on social media. Jason will be putting out content all throughout the off season on Facebook, Instagram, and Tumblr at Niner Faithful Radio and Twitter at Niner Faithful R. Make sure to go to visit NinerFaithfulRadio.com/subscribe to see everywhere you can subscribe to the show and catch NFR Weekly News Wrap 7 p.m. here on the West Coast. I shall see y'all next Tuesday. We'll recap the season, do all that, and see what 2023 brings us. All right. So till then, please remember the San Francisco 49ers don't always lose a game, but every time we do, we're still the best team in NFL history. Stay faithful, my friends. See y'all Tuesday.
You are now listening to Niner Faithful Radio, the show for the faithful, by the faithful.
See ya. We got a comment? I'm mixed, half black. There you go. Much love, baby. Boom. All right, y'all. See ya.